have gone wrong. Now we're going to the third arm of government to say you have to provide the checks and balances, protect the rights of the people of Zimbabwe.
My question still has not been answered. So do you think ZANU-PF, which is a juristic person, has no right whatsoever to have dreams and to have aspirations of changing a constitution and expressing it at its own private function?
What ZANU-PF does in its own house, they can be madness, keep their own madness in their own house, but they cannot now try to diffuse their madness to affect the whole country. Your rights start and end where your nose starts and someone else's nose begins. So you have to know other people have got rights. They can be made in their own house. They can be house of embassies. Let them be.
At this point, are they not just being made in their house?
Now their madness now has infected a state president who has got a mandate to protect the constitution. You see now, if they keep their madness with themselves and do whatever nonsense in their own house, it's fine by us. But the moment they are now instruct the Minister of Justice and the Parliament to do everything possible to try to curate the rights of the people of Zimbabwe, they have got a problem.
Do you know that during the ZANU-PF conference, also a resolution was made to remove the 2% IMTT tax? And there was an instruction to the Minister of Finance to that effect.
You know,
the Minister of Finance has since come out publicly saying that it is most unlikely that that 2% will be removed because it is the one that's keeping government alive. Now, given that history, would you not think that the same can happen, on the 2030 agenda?
You know the problem that we are having? We've got a government that is trying to emulate the model of China, where the party is superior to the government, which should not happen in a republic like Zimbabwe. We're a constitutional republic. We should operate by a different set of rules. But when you emulate the wrong models, you end up with a situation that we have, where the party now abuses and is overbearing and interfering in the duties of a government.
Would it not be prudent for you to have waited until you see government start being infected before you make this application?
The problem with that approach is that if the current constitution is in any way by the madness of these people removed, by then it won't be law, it won't be enforceable. The law then will now be enforced, and the courts will not be able to enforce what will not be the current law. What has already happened is that the president is out acting unconstitutionally, has failed to fulfill his obligations, and is trying to interfere with the political rights of citizens, political parties. This is what we are fighting for. Zimbabwe's constitution ensures multi-party democracy.
My question was, for instance, once cabinet tables, right, a paper that it is going to do this, at that point, before the law has been changed, at that point, you now know exactly what is going to be happening, exactly which sections of the constitution are going to be violated. You would then make your application, because at the moment, if I say that you are just being speculative and you have approached a constitutional court on speculation, what would you say?
That is a lie. I just gave this section 167(2), which speaks of the constitutional court having the constitutional mandate to look whether the conduct, the actions of the president are constitutional, or whether he has fulfilled a constitutional obligation. So
his conduct right now
is unconstitutional.
The conduct is that you are accusing him of being silent when citizens in his party expressed their intentions. You were supposed to stop them. That's what you're saying.
The citizens are championing his interest to stay in office. They are not pushing. The person who is supposed to stay in office is not ZANU-PF, it's the president himself. As an individual, is the beneficiary. And how does he benefit? By violating the constitution. The constitution of Zimbabwe is not ambiguous. It says 2 5-year terms. That's it. So he's trying to be a beneficiary when there are 2 clauses that forbid him. One, the term limit clause. Second, it says any amendment to the constitution, any company cannot benefit. So we cannot be passive. The other thing, the president has got an obligation to defend. When he defends something, you're not passive. I just gave you section 324. It's very clear. It's not ambiguous. Say all constitutional obligations must be faithfully observed and defended. He took an oath of office. He should be the #1 person defending the constitution of Zimbabwe. The leader sets the tone. The tone in ZANU-PF of lawlessness, it comes from the leader. A fish rots from the head.
Let us look at the allegations that have come, that especially when going ahead and not knowing, you are actually giving an opportunity for this to come to life, because your application without full facts is most likely to fail. And when it fails, it gives advantage to those pushing for the 2030 agenda. What would you say to that allegation? I've seen it.
If you look at it, our draft order, it's requesting 9 things. I'll just give you some of the things. If you open the page.
Yes, sure.
The first one, I think, is saying the first, second, and third respondents are acting unconstitutional. I think number 3 or 4, it is actually asking the Parliament of Zimbabwe to put in motion a motion to remove the president for acting out reverse the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Just yesterday, we just engaged.
You are putting an order to the Constitutional Court for Parliament to remove. When Parliament is a separate arm from the judiciary, how does that order, I mean, it's not even justiciable.
It is open section 167.
You can have a conversation with me about it. How does the court say Parliament go and remove the president?
Okay, if open section 97 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, it's very clear. It says these are the conditions of the removal of the president. Whenever the president is found to be in willful violation of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, Parliament has to put in process for the removal of the president. And there are 2 main reasons that are put under section 97 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Let me just read them to you right here. The grounds upon which the president can be removed from office, section 97 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. Are you there?
No, you go ahead. Yeah.
All right. It says, the Senate and the National Assembly, by a joint resolution passed by at least 1/2 of their total membership, may resolve that the question whether or not the president or vice president should be removed from office for A, serious misconduct, B, failure to obey, uphold, and defend this constitution, C, willful violation of this constitution. 2 main points I would want to cite.
But this is
section paragraph 3.
My point is they are not getting an instruction from anywhere.
They will get an instruction once this court the Constitutional Court has determined whether the conduct of the president is unconstitutional, whether the president is acting willfully in violation of the Constitution. Then this court order can be granted. Now they've got grounds now to cite section 97.
You said your prayer is to have the court instruct Parliament.
Yes.
I mean, that will never happen.
It will.
And you know it. Legally, it cannot happen.
It can happen.
The House of Assembly and Senate must, in its own volition, after an order that the president has violated the Constitution, then decides whether they want to remove the president or not. They cannot be given an order.
The order from the Court will be saying the Court has found the president being willful violation of the Constitution. May you look into the possible removal of the president. That is allowed within the Constitution. I just given 2 sections. Section 97.
Mambo mana kana tiri chose iwe